Today we have with us Ms. Rekha Sethi, Director General of All India Management Association with us. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So, with industry and academia in your governing board, how do you think AIMA can play a key role in recommending what is right in terms of hirings or pedagogy to the management ecosystem?
I think the biggest problem the industry is facing is that they are not getting students who are employable, and they do not have the skills necessary to join companies. AIMA is in the unique position where we have corporates as members, and we also have institutions, and we also have students for members. So we have all the stakeholders under one umbrella, so to say. As a result, we have actually formed a task force to look at management education going forward, and we have a task force which comprises of corporates, academia and thought leaders who have got together, and we are working on a plan to maybe present to the government later and the HRD ministry later on where management education needs to go. So like I said, we are in that unique position where all the stakeholders are there under one umbrella, and we can bring them together to talk about issues. The corporates can really talk to the academics on what they need in terms of employability, and perhaps it's a good time for the academics to sit up and take notice as to what industry wants.
So you were recently in talks with the National Skill Development Corporation on devising the national occupation standards for management education. So how important is our NOSs for management education, and what's the update on that?
We are in talks with NSDC on a little more than just the NOSs, because we have actually floated a proposal, and we have submitted a proposal to the NSDC to form the Management and Management Services Sector Skills Council. We are also looking at areas like management skills, soft skills, employability skills, entrepreneurial skills, and also management support skills like HR admin. NOSs have to be formed for each of these categories, and we are working not only with NSDC but also with directly with some of the sector skills councils. We have offered our services to them to develop these NOSs for them.
So what is your message to the recruiters when it comes to hiring from the institutes?
As far as hiring from the institutes is concerned, they are the first year institutes, and I think the recruiters are right to go there, but there is a lot of talent in the second and third tier also, and if AIMA is successful in finding the right NOSs and getting the right curriculum in place, I think the second and third tier institutes will also be a great place to hire from, and they should look at those.
What do you think about the shortage of women graduates from management education?
I think women have always had a tough time as far as whether it's education or jobs are concerned. A woman has to multitask. She has to manage a family, she has to manage her kids, she has to manage her in-laws, and she has to manage a job. As a result, a lot of times you'll find that women drop out maybe after a few years of their career. So perhaps a lot of women have started thinking, what's the point in going to a management school and spending a lot of money and time and ultimately leaving it for other priorities. So perhaps that was one of the reasons why there were a lot of women not going in for management schools. It was seen more as something which men go for. Also, if you see, especially the first year management schools, they are really mostly graduates from IITs. So one, I think now women are slowly breaking that glass ceiling, and there is a career out there for them, and women are learning to combine career and home responsibilities. So there are a lot many more women going in for management now. And two, I think especially the IIMs have to also change the way they recruit students into the IIMs, because earlier, if you would see, 95% of the recruitees were from IITs. Now they have brought in other disciplines. They're trying to get more diversity in IIMs. I think it was I don't remember, but one of the IIMs actually had a quota for women students, and I think that's a very positive step, because there are more women in the IIMs now. There are more women joining management. There are more women coming out into the industry stream and joining jobs, and there will be more women breaking the glass ceiling in the future, I hope.
What do you have to say about the lack of women to fill up the board of governors positions?
I think the problem stems really perhaps at management school levels or school levels, so to say, because if there are no women going into the work stream, if there are no women who sustain their careers throughout, there will not be enough women at the board level. I think the step of the government to make it mandatory for all company boards to have one woman director on the boards is very laudable, because it's given an opportunity for women to break into an all boys club, which frankly it literally had become, because the comfort factor was there to have men on board. But it has been, I think studies have proved that women bring in a lot more ethics. Companies who have women directors on board do much better, and it's not me speaking, it's studies which have been done.
Much better in what way?
In terms of profitability also, because a woman looks at say a business proposition from a different point of view. And I think it's important to have a woman on board, because a woman is half your consumers. You can't ignore half of your consumers who are women. So it does make a lot of sense to have women on board, and I think it's a great step forward which the government has taken.
So what's your take on the setting up of new IIMs?
Well, I'm a little divided on that. We do need more institutions, we need better institutions, but I think there is a huge problem as far as faculty is concerned. It's not infrastructure, but it's faculty which is the real issue. So till we solve that problem, setting up new IIMs may have limited value. But as a step forward, I think it's a good step, because once the IIMs are set up, I hope that good faculty will also join them.
Even the second level of IIMs, the 7 new IIMs that we opened up during 2007 doesn't yet have enough faculty members, and still we are talking of new IIMs now.
That's my worry, that the key problem that we face as far as management education is concerned is lack of faculty. So opening IIMs, while a good step, may not be an end in itself till you have proper faculty in place. And as you yourself said, that the new IIMs which have been formed so far also are still grappling to get good faculty, and it's a problem, I think, which needs to be addressed, and perhaps we have still some way to go in addressing it.
So what do you think about setting up of a new accreditation body for just management?
Accreditation is a must. It's not enough for a management institute to have approval. The approval is meant for setting up the management institute, but the accreditation shows that it is it's a quality institute. I think it's very important for students to know that the institute that they are joining is accredited and is a quality institute. So I'm all for it, and I think all the management schools should go in for it.
One final question on accreditation is, institutes like including IIM Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow have recently gone for the foreign accreditations. So they are not very confident about NAC, ISO accreditation. So what do you think about that? How can India itself provide a credible accrediting body?
I think IIMs are at a completely different level. So if they're going in for international accreditation, great, good for them, because they also need to attract students from different countries. I think one of the reasons why we are lacking in international rankings is that one of the criteria is students from diversity, international students to be present there. So till the IIMs get that accreditation, they are not going to be able to attract those students. So I think it's right that they are going in for it. But I think the number 2 and 3rd tier institutes also do need to go in for accreditation, because I personally feel that it's the right of every student to know what kind of institution he or she is joining, and accreditation gives it that certain minimum quality level.
But shouldn't India have its own credible accrediting body rather than going for ASESB as the mandate?
No, we do. We have the National Board of Accreditation and NAC, but what I meant was that for IIMs to be ranked anywhere in the international pecking order, they also perhaps need the international accreditation. So they are going a step further, and it's laudable that they are doing so. But it is not to say that our accrediting, our bodies are any less than the international bodies. It's the need of the IIMs and perhaps the need of the second and third tier institutes who need to go to NBA and NAC to get accredited.
Thank you for joining us, ma'am.